"Don't touch me," she yelled, her voice shaking as two men stepped closer under the flickering gas station light. Her little boy sat in the back seat, eyes wide, clutching his toy truck. The taller thug smirked, slamming his palm against her car window. "Relax, sweetheart. Just asking for some change." But his tone wasn't asking, it was warning. She reached for her phone, but the shorter one grabbed her wrist, forcing her back against the car. "You think you can just ignore us, huh?" he hissed. Her heart pounded so loud she could barely hear her own words. "Please." "My son's here." The taller man laughed, a cruel sound that made the whole station feel colder. "Then maybe teach him how the world works," he said, pulling open the driver's door. Her scream cut through the air, sharp, desperate. And that's when the sound hit. Engines. Deep, rolling thunder from the highway. Headlights swung across the lot. 6 motorcycles pulling in like a wall of steel. The thugs froze, hands still mid-motion. The first biker killed his engine and stepped off, massive frame, leather vest, a silver emblem glinting under the station lights. His voice was calm, but there was steel in it. "You boys bothering someone's mom?" The taller thug tried to laugh it off. "Hey man, just talking." "Doesn't look like talking," the biker interrupted, stepping closer. The others fanned out, silent but watching. One of them pulled out his phone, recording. Another leaned on his bike, flipping open a knife. Not to use, just to show. The woman's breath hitched as her son peeked from the window. The lead biker turned slightly, giving her a small nod. "You're safe now, ma'am." The thugs glanced at each other, trying to decide whether to run. But before they could move, the sound of sirens began to grow in the distance. The biker smiled faintly. "Guess luck's not on your side tonight." The shorter thug cursed under his breath. "You called the cops?" The biker's grin widened. "Nope." "She did. You picked the wrong gas station, and the wrong mother." The flashing blue lights rolled into the gas station, reflecting off chrome and leather. The thugs stood stiff, faces pale as 2 police cruisers stopped inches from them. The lead biker didn't move. He just crossed his arms and waited, like he'd seen this scene too many times before. Officer Daniel stepped out first, one hand on his holster. "What's going on here?" he asked, eyes darting between the woman, the bikers, and the 2 trembling men. "She was being harassed," the lead biker said calmly. "We stepped in before it got worse." The taller thug tried to twist the story instantly. "They're lying, man. We were just talking. They came out of nowhere." The officer glanced at the woman, who was still shaking. "Ma'am, that true?" She swallowed hard, forcing herself to speak. "They cornered me. My son's in the car. They tried to grab me." Her voice cracked, but the conviction in her eyes was enough. The shorter thug muttered, "This is crap. She's making it up." That's when one of the bikers, thin, quiet, with a GoPro mounted on his helmet, spoke up. "Then maybe you should smile for the camera, genius." He tapped his phone screen, showing the officer a live feed. The video was clear, everything from the first threat to the thug's hand on her arm. Officer Daniels didn't hesitate. "Hands where I can see them." The thugs cursed but obeyed, as another officer cuffed them against the hood of the car. The woman exhaled shakily, tears of relief blurring her vision. The lead biker turned to her. "You okay, ma'am?" She nodded slowly, hugging her arms around herself. "I don't even know who you are, but thank you." He smiled faintly, shaking his head. "Don't thank me yet," her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" He looked past her, watching as the cops loaded the thugs into the back of the cruiser. "Those 2? They weren't just random creeps. I've seen them before. They hang around a crew that doesn't like being filmed." A chill ran through her spine. "Crew? What crew?" The biker leaned closer, his voice low. "The same one that torched my friend's garage last month. These guys don't just pick fights, they send messages." Her stomach dropped. "So, what happens now?" He looked at her car, then at her son, who was staring out the window clutching his toy truck. "Now?" He gave a small, serious smile. "Now they're gonna find out who they messed with. You thought this was random?" "No, sweetheart. This was a warning." The next morning, the woman sat at her kitchen table, hands wrapped around a cold mug of coffee. She hadn't slept a minute. Every sound outside made her flinch. Her son, still half asleep, was eating cereal at the counter. She kept glancing at the window, half expecting those men to show up again. A knock came at the door. She froze. She peeked through the curtain. It was him. The biker, Same leather vest, same calm look in his eyes. She opened the door slowly. You shouldn't be here. He gave a small shrug. Probably not, but you should know what you're dealing with. She let him in, hesitant but trusting. You said they send messages. Who are they? He took off his gloves and placed them on the table. Group calls themselves the Wires. They move small stuff, drugs, stolen parts. But lately they've been getting bolder. That gas station's one of their hangouts. Her heart sank. So last night wasn't just bad luck? No, you were at the wrong place, wrong time, or maybe right place, depending how you look at it. She frowned. Why would you say that? He leaned back, eyes studying her carefully. Because the second I saw your face last night, I knew I'd seen you before. She blinked, confused. Me, where? He slid a folded photo from his vest pocket. Grainy, printed off a security cam still. It showed a woman running from a burning garage, a little boy in her arms. Her breath caught. That's me. From 3 years ago, he nodded. That's my buddy's shop you ran past. The night the Wires burned it down. You called 911 that night, didn't you? She hesitated. Yes, I was driving home. I saw the fire. I told the cops I saw men running from the back. He looked at her intensely. You did more than call it in. You gave a statement. You helped the cops bust half their crew. Her lips parted as realization hit. So they remember me. Yeah, he said quietly. And last night? That was their way of saying they didn't forget. She stared at him, trembling. So what am I supposed to do now? He stood up, slipping his gloves back on. You're not gonna run. You're not gonna hide. You're gonna stand still. Because I'm not letting them near you again. Her voice softened. Why would you help me? He paused at the door. Because 3 years ago, you saved my brother's life when you made that call. You thought you saved a stranger that night. Turns out he was family to one of us. By late afternoon, the quiet suburban street had changed. Engines roared again, but this time not at the gas station. It was a convoy parked discreetly behind the strip mall. The biker leader, now revealing his name, was Colt, was mapping out the situation on a crumpled notebook. The woman watched from the doorway of her small home, heart hammering. They're smart, Colt said, tapping the map. They won't strike head-on. They like intimidation first. That's why last night happened, she frowned. So what do we do? He gave her a small smile, half reassuring, half teasing. We hit them where they least expect, and you're part of this now, her eyes widened. Me? I'm just a mom, I can't fight. Colt shook his head. You've already fought. You stood your ground last night, and you helped bring them down years ago without even knowing it. That counts. She looked away, glancing at her son playing in the yard. I don't want him to see this. In danger. He nodded slowly. Then we make sure he doesn't. You protect him the same way you always have. But we won't let them get close to you again. A sudden ping from Colt's phone broke the silence. He frowned, scrolling. They're moving faster than I thought. 2 of their crew were spotted scouting the gas station again. Looks like they want to finish what they started. Her stomach sank. So it's coming. Tonight? Colt's eyes darkened. Probably. But we're ready. She shook her head in disbelief. I can't believe this is happening. All because of me. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Not because of you, because they underestimated you. And that's exactly why we're going to turn the tables. The woman swallowed hard, realizing her fear was slowly being replaced with something else. Something like determination. She wasn't just a target anymore. She was part of the plan. Suddenly, a loud honk echoed from down the street. Both of them froze. Colt's eyes narrowed. That's them, move. They slipped into the shadows behind her garage, unseen. The sun dipped lower and the air was thick with tension. Tonight wouldn't just be about threats, it would be about showing the Wires they'd picked the wrong target. And the wrong mom. They thought fear would stop her. They didn't know she was ready to fight back. Night fell heavy, the street empty except for the distant hum of traffic. The woman crouched behind her garage, Colt and 3 bikers flanking her. Every shadow seemed alive, every distant sound amplified. Suddenly, headlights appeared around the corner. 2 black SUVs rolled slowly down the street, their windows tinted. The thugs from the gas station were inside, this time with reinforcements. Colt's eyes narrowed. They've brought friends. Perfect. The woman's heart pounded. Perfect? How is this perfect? Colt smirked. Because they don't know what we have. Before she could ask, the bikers moved like ghosts, spreading out silently. Colt gave a nod and one of them pulled out a small device, a jammer, blocking cell signals in the immediate area. The SUVs stopped, engines idling, unaware they were cut off from calling for help. From behind the shadows, the woman's phone buzzed. A live feed streaming from the biker with the GoPro. She could see herself, Colt, the street, the thugs approaching. But then something flashed across the screen. Another figure crouched on a roof across the street, aiming a high-powered spotlight straight at the SUVs. The thugs cursed. "What the hell?" One of them stepped out, trying to look brave. "It's just some bikers." "We got numbers." A sudden spotlight blinded him. The sound of engines revving and tires screeching followed as Colt's bikers moved in from both sides, surrounding the vehicles. The thugs froze, realizing they were trapped. The woman gasped. How did you know?" Colt gave her a glance, calm and composed. "Let's just say, I've been preparing for this night longer than you think." The lead thug, taller and scarred from years of petty fights, jumped out of the SUV, hands raised. "Wait, we can work something out!" Colt laughed low. "Work something out? You've been terrorizing women, burning property and threatening lives. You don't get to negotiate." The thug's eyes widened as the bikers closed in. He tried to run, but a chain of bikes blocked his path, engines roaring like thunder. The woman's pulse raced as the scene unfolded before her. She realized this wasn't just about revenge, it was about justice, and for the first time she felt safe instead of helpless. Then a twist no one expected, the shorter thug pulled out a gun from his coat. Time seemed to freeze. Colt's hand flashed, disarming him with lightning speed, sending the weapon skittering across the asphalt. The woman's jaw dropped. "You see?" Colt said, calm as ever. "Underestimating us was your first mistake. Thinking I'd let this escalate to bullets was your second." The thugs were cuffed quickly by the bikers who handed them off to the arriving real cops, called earlier by Colt's backup. Shock painted their faces. The woman stepped forward, finally breathing. I can't believe this is over." Colt placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It's over because you didn't back down. Fear is powerful, but courage, even stronger. They came for fear, but they left facing justice instead." The street was quiet now, the echoes of engines and shouting replaced by the low hum of the police radios. The woman leaned against her car, trying to catch her breath. Her son peeked out from the doorway, eyes wide, not fully understanding but sensing the change in the air. Colt knelt beside her, holding a small folder. "I think you need to see this," he said. She frowned. "What is it?" He opened it, revealing surveillance photos and documents, connections between the wires and a larger network of organized crime in the city. "These two," he said, pointing to the captured thugs, "aren't just random punks. They're middlemen for someone much bigger. And last night, they were testing you." Her stomach twisted. "Testing me?" He nodded. "Yeah, they wanted to see if you'd scream, run, or break. You didn't. That made you interesting. Someone who can't be intimidated. Someone worth paying attention to." Her eyes narrowed. "So, what now? Are they going to come after me again?" Colt shook his head. "Not if we're smart. We already have leverage." He flipped open another page. Legal documents showing the thugs' past arrests, including one that was suppressed years ago. With this, the police can press heavy charges. They'll think twice before targeting anyone else. The woman blinked. "So all this danger, it wasn't random?" "Never is," Colt said. "And here's the kicker." He handed her a USB drive. Footage from the gas station, the street, all backed up. If anything happens, it's proof. Nothing they can deny. She stared at him, a mix of relief and disbelief. You planned all of this?" Colt shrugged. "Planned? No. Anticipated? Definitely. You survived before without knowing it, so I just made sure last night didn't end badly. But there's more." Her heart skipped. "More?" He looked her in the eye. "You're stronger than you think. The wires just learned that. And now you've got proof, backup, and people who won't let them touch you. You're not a victim anymore." A faint smile crept onto her face. "I guess I'm not." Colt gave a small nod. "And that's why tonight was just the beginning of turning the tables. Justice doesn't always come quietly. Sometimes it comes roaring like this." Her son ran up, hugging her legs. She looked down at him, then at Colt, realizing the depth of what had happened. Fear had almost controlled her life, but courage, timing, and unlikely allies had changed everything. They thought they could scare her. Instead, she became untouchable. 2 nights later, the city skyline glowed under the moonlight, but the streets near the gas station were tense, almost silent. Colt and the woman stood on a quiet overpass overlooking the warehouse district where the wire's higher boss was said to operate. "They're organized," Colt said, scanning the buildings. "But tonight they won't see us coming." She swallowed hard. "I don't even know what I can do out there." "You already know," Colt replied. "Stay calm. Watch. When the moment comes, trust your instincts." Hours passed, the shadows thickening. Then headlights. A convoy of black vans rolled toward the warehouse, tinted windows hiding whoever was inside. Colt counted silently. 4 vans. More than enough to make anyone nervous. The woman's pulse raced. "This is it?" Colt nodded. "We tip the balance. No one dies tonight. Justice is what we aim for." The bikers fanned out, engines silent, some perched on rooftops, others moving stealthily through alleyways. Then came the first twist. Inside the main van, the woman recognized one familiar face. The tall thug from the gas station sitting beside a man wearing a custom suit. His face wasn't scarred. It was calm, dangerous, the real leader. The shorter thug whispered from inside the van, "You promised us protection." The leader turned, icy smile. "Promises? We don't deal in promises. We deal in results." Colt's phone buzzed. He tapped it and the warehouse doors automatically opened. Lights blazed inside, cameras rolling, capturing every move. The leader froze. "What the?" The woman realized the hidden twist. This was a trap for them, but Colt had reversed it. Every move the wires made had been tracked, recorded, anticipated. They had walked right into the spotlight, literally. The bikers surged, surrounding the vans, engines roaring like thunder. The leader's face fell. "No, this isn't possible." Colt stepped forward from the shadows. "It's possible because you underestimated everyone you thought was weak." The woman, trembling but steady, walked to the center of the street, phone in hand, live streaming everything to the police and city officials. "This is what you do to people who threaten women, families, and communities," she shouted. The leader's jaw dropped as officers poured in from the sides, finally witnessing the evidence firsthand. Within minutes, he and his entire crew were detained. The woman watched, stunned, as justice unfolded, not through violence, but exposure, planning, and courage. Colt placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did it, not me. You faced them when no one else could." She exhaled, finally letting the tension go. I can't believe it's over." Colt smiled faintly. "It's over for them, for you. It's a new beginning. They thought they were untouchable, until she turned the city's eyes on them." Morning sunlight spilled across the quiet street, and for the first time in days, the woman felt safe. Her son ran out to play, laughing. The weight of fear finally lifted from his small shoulders. The neighborhood felt peaceful, almost ordinary, yet it carried the echo of the battles fought and won. Colt leaned against his bike, watching her with a faint smile. "You did more than survive," he said. "You showed everyone that courage matters more than fear." She nodded, looking at her son, then back at him. "I never thought I could be someone who stands up like this, but it felt right." He shrugged modestly. "You were always that person. You just didn't know it until it was needed most." The woman glanced at the gas station down the street, the place where it all started. Police cars were gone, the thugs arrested, their vans impounded. Everything returned to normal, or at least as normal as life could be after a war fought in shadows. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. The story of the mother who faced the wires and helped bring them down was trending across social media. Clips from Colt's GoPro, the live feed, and security footage had gone viral. The city was talking about her bravery, her calm under pressure, her unwillingness to back down. Her eyes glistened. "I never wanted attention. I just wanted to protect my son." Colt nodded. "And in doing that, you reminded everyone why freedom, courage, and standing up for what's right matters." The woman smiled, a quiet, victorious smile. "I didn't fight for recognition. I fought for my family, and for everyone who could be in my place." Colt mounted his bike, revving the engine softly. "Then let's make sure they never forget. You've got allies now, and so does the city." She watched him ride away, the sun reflecting off the chrome of his bike. She felt something she hadn't in days. Relief, pride, and a deep, unwavering sense of justice. Her neighborhood, her life, her son, safe. And those who thought they could intimidate her, well, they would remember this lesson for a long time. She didn't just survive the night. She owned it, and the world saw her courage.